Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the NLC Division 2. Man, can we just, I need to slow down. My brain is just not working today. Anyway, let's look at our next game. It's going to be Rising Dawn taking on UniQ. Both of these teams are 6 and 5 in the standings right now. So, Jamada, we've got another tight game.
Yeah, another tight game. I expect that we will get blood, loads of blood in this one compared to the other ones. Even I feel like the previous two games have been pretty action packed. This one, though, I feel like is likely to take the cake because we have, of course, half of the X Flung side on UniQ, and we have Vangsted on Rising Dawn on the opposite side, who, of course, has the rest of his roster alongside him, the likes of Denzel, who they just all like to they just get that down and dirty. It's Rising Dawn might be my favorite team to watch alongside natives for quality, but Rising Dawn just always brings some good shenanigans. And I think today, when you take into consideration UniQ have been up down, feeling a little bit better over the course of the Super Week at the very least, we should be in store for our first close game of the day because it feels like we have not actually had one just yet. Guap, we felt like they was maybe coming into it, going to roll over a little bit to light side. Completely opposite. It was light side who got absolutely demolished. Like
Yeah.
Guap, I mean, Kryptonite, word being thrown around, they have a green emblem. It's same thing, right? So we'll see.
I'm excited to see, how this game's going to go down. I think Champ Select's going to be interesting as well. Very different games in the champ selects as well. I think when we look at like natives, they had a team that was drafted like, okay, this is very clear in how you play this comp. They have a lot of tools, they can play around it. On the side of light side and go up, it was kind of like a bit of a weird one where we were seeing, Ari's getting picked into the Silas, the Ornn not actually really landing the ultimate, but then obviously like the Ivern and the Silas landing the Ornn ultimate better than the Ornn can, and a lot of weird things where it felt like light side were given a lot and Guap actually kind of still made what they had work because they just understood their comp and like understood their champions and things. So I'm curious, maybe you see, excuse the pun, some unique picks come out in this game as well, some things which catch off like players. That's I think the strength of what we just saw from the Ivern. Like the Ivern wasn't the winning or defining factor of that game, but like he had a massive part to play in it. And it comes down to teams not really scrimming against the Ivern and getting enough practice versus that champion. But we're going to see as we're getting in to champion select, the Karthus, the Akshan, the Seraphine, and the Wukong have all been banned away.
Yeah, they all have all been banned away, and very common to actually see the Akshan, the Karthus, and then the Camille banned against Vangsted on Rising Dawn as well, on top of those additional two. So trending away from that for now. We'll see what UniQ want to do. It's such an immediate cliss, the first pick. So let's actually try and do a bit of heroism because the Draven actually banned away on Rising Dawn side is something that we occasionally see actually as an answer. Rising Dawn are going to split up the Renata and the Kalista lane duo. It does give UniQ the opportunity to try and get a counter pick, but they're also going to take away the Volibear. So I actually quite like this from Rising Dawn because typically this is the B2, B3 that you would expect from UniQ. So now UniQ have to think about what pairings they could actually look for with this in mind. They could go for something kind of aggressive to try and match the early game, like Trundle plus X support that wants to go in, but that's not really Shafty's playstyle. I expect him, unironically, to maybe even lock in that Cade if he sees the Volibear. But maybe we'll get that later on down the line, or we actually do get the slightly more orthodox thing out of Shafty, and there's the Thresh as well. So a lot of setup and a lot of early game action expected from the jungle as we have that Thresh alongside that Trundle.
Yeah, and now looking towards what is going to get picked up here for the side of Rising Dawn. Looking towards already carrying, they're locking the Aphelios here. So now onto the bans. Jungle supports have been picked up. So this is now just 3 games to start banning away some of these mid laners, some of these top laners. If neither of these players want to be dealing with the things like we've been seeing a lot of, like the Azir, these control mages, stuff like that could get banned out here, or they can focus up to, again, to something that's been shown up quite a lot as well, that Ornn in the top lane. A very, very powerful champion just for the ability to start those fights with a snap engage on the ult.
Yeah, and I wonder maybe if Rising Dawn are willing to pick that one up for themselves. Vangsted, even though, we know him for his Camille's, know him for, the occasional Riven game and just other kind of bruiser, flashy champions. Something like Ornn is something that he has defaulted to before in the past. The Irelia ban on top of the Camille could really set this up to be a bit of a freebie for Vangsted to pick up. Yes, Neos will have, I'm sure, a long list of champions he'll be able to freely pick into it, but right now, Rising Dawn definitely do need another form of engage to pick up, even if Darius is gone. So, like, yeah, it's just kind of sat there. It's what I would maybe expect. Gangplank would be interesting because now you have this massive slow field to shut down the Kalista throughout the entirety of the game. But not only that, if the level 6s roll through and UniQ try and still get a little bit too aggressive, now Bankstead can always just use the Cannon Barrage to dissuade those tower dives from going down. And not only that, look at all the bans, right? Irelia gone. Camille, kind of an irritating lane to deal with as GP, but definitely one that you should be winning most times. Darius gone as well. Neos, again, could default to something, like a tank and just kind of sit there, be a frontline for his team, because with the Corki, that's definitely what you kind of want. And the very limited engage options does mean that Ornn is starting to prop up as a bit of a lane that maybe you need for team composition, but for the lane, it's definitely going to feel bad, and you're going to give Vangstead a free scaling Gangplank.
Alrighty, well, there's you go, the Ornn lock-in, and now looking towards potential final pickup here. Some pretty standard team comps put together. I do worry that Rising Dawn have an incredibly good tower dive here. You can turn the tower off, Cannon Barrage down, and now Alessandra following up. Like, we were talking about this at the beginning of the day about how some teams, they lean into the scaling aspects of the game, but some teams just go volley bear Renata and jump onto tower as soon as possible. To me, that looks like a level 6 and we dive a bot lane kind of game to me.
Even on the opposite side, right? Thresh, Kalista, Trundle, they're looking to get down and dirty as soon as possible, right? Try and get as much blood shed as soon as they possibly can, so that the Kalista can start to get rolling before the Aphelios starts to really come online. 2 IMs, 2.5 IMs, and then they can use themselves as a bridge towards Eden, so that Corki can come online himself, hit 2.5 items, 2 items, really Luden's Muramana spike, and then all of a sudden he is an absolute monster. And again, there's not much of a front line on Rising Dawn's side, so that poke is going to stick. There's no true sustain. It could start to get a little bit messy if we go towards the later stages of the game. I'm curious to see how UniQ will play this one out, because they have, safe side top, scaling mid, aggressive bot side and jungle. On the opposite side, Rising Dawn, a few more options, right? You have a mid lane you have a jungler that's always going to be willing to gank any lane. You have Gangplank, who you can strong side because he's into an Ornn, but most importantly, you have Aphelios, who you want to try and shield and get to a point where he's going to be useful and he's going to be able to output a whole bunch of damage.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be... I'm excited by this game, actually. I really like what the teams are putting together. Obviously, you've got, the Corki as well, who... Corki's not the most interactive champion, but occasionally you do see those like rockets hit and you're like, oh, Corki damage. Yeah, that's a thing. But obviously Kalista as well, something that's been rising highly in priority ever since the durability patch, the ability just to kind of stay in the fights and kite for longer while getting as many of those arrows in as possible, spears in as possible, sorry, to get that damage down. But we are getting ready for game number 3, UniQ versus Rising Dawn. We've had 2 very, very one-sided stomps to start us off. I wonder whether or not we're going to see more of that in this game, or if we're going to see something a little bit more balanced and a little bit more even.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be tracking. I mean, I feel like, in theory, this should probably be our closest game of the day, even compared to, some of the other ones that we have in store. So, yeah, we will see. But I think the drafts definitely set ourselves up for some pretty interesting games. Game, rather. Again, UniQ, really only have the early game option of playing through the Kalista, whereas Rising Dawn, it feels like a couple more options through the mid lane, play mid into bot maybe, even into the top side, right? Gangplank into Ornn is something you can strong side, and Vangstead has not defaulted like so many top laners would into the grasp. He's gone for the first strike, so he's going to farm gold, he's going to get to his spike sooner, and he's also going to deal more damage in the late game. Vangstead, good thumbs up from me.
Well, Shafty's starting up on the blue side. Don't worry, mate. I'm not here. I'm here.
It was an awkward amount of time to hold up.
I was sending a message. I'm still having my audio issues, unfortunately. So just trying to sort those out, but unfortunately that's not fixed. Luckily for you guys at home, you don't have to experience the league like I am, or the games like I am. Anyway, blue side start here. Top side start here are actually both of the junglers who will be clearing downwards now. Towards this bottom side, I don't know if we'll see any early action on that front. Maybe we will, but also I feel like whoever kind of gets the pressure in this bottom lane should probably just translate that into that crab pressure for their jungler. So that's kind of what I'm expecting to see go down here, but we'll keep our eyes on that as But now it just feels like, oh, good hook into the cleanse immediately from Limitless. Doesn't even want to get caught for the moment as the handshake will send him to back. And actually, that's a really big trade there from Riddle. So it turns out that cleanse might have been the best play there.
Rising Dawn, not Riddle. Don't do it again, Jake.
Oh, God.
I'm gonna let it slide once. I'll let it slide. I remember I was watching when you did this the last time.
I mean, last time I did this with M-Test, and M-Test was, I can't remember what he was calling them. He wasn't even calling them Rising Dawn. Yeah, he was making up a new name for them.
Well, it's Rising Dawn, okay, Jake? Just remember, I know it's words are
You
hard.
know what? It's the heat. It's not the heat. I'm just very distracted by a lot of different things.
Such a British response. Like I'll know the heat. It's so hot. It's 26 degrees, man. Like it's.
We've been over this though. My room traps heat. I've actually the aircon has cooled my room down quite a lot. I don't have any excuse.
Yeah, it's tough. Vangstead, if he sticks around, he's going to be in trouble. Pillar will come through, so he's going to have to flash at least. I think he's dead.
Yeah, I think he's just accepting his demise. He almost gets enough damage onto Nihus. I actually think if Nihus hadn't flashed there, he would have killed him.
Yeah.
So really nice flash there from Nihus, but does end up losing out. Now Fat IRL making his way over. Nihus will spot him out though, so it's just going to be a wave shoved in by Fat IRL, denying some farm maybe to Nihus, or at least a good weight lift state as Shafty wants to try and 1v1 him here just to send him packing.
Yeah, so he wants to try and hold this so Nihus can get as much of it as possible, but also try and force out Vangstead's teleport. It's gonna kind of crash, but not fully, but enough that Vangstead shouldn't be missing out on too much of the next wave. But bottom side, another Death Sentence connects, and they're gonna go in. Handshake was so good.
Oh, that was a very good handshake, and Limitless able to survive for that as fine forever. He is probably just going to be fine as he takes a whole lot of damage, but he is completely okay and able to move away to safety.
Okay in the sense that he's able to walk away, but health bar's starting to get really low. I mean, on both sides, really. Got it. No sustain left up and available, and Flamethrower is going to make this kind of an awkward approach around Bengi. Underneath the tower?
Oh, they are looking for it, potentially. The Flame Spit not going to hit, unfortunately. And it looks like they are going to be able to walk away from this action. A lot of action constantly coming down in this bottom side of the map, and this is going to give a nice reset over to Guff and Rotevenge. He can go back, get himself these cheater recalls in, maybe get an extra longsword. Just kind of get more stats to work with for these fights.
Yeah, but curiously, Neva Jungler has actually shown their face in the bottom side. They've both been very active on the top side of the map. They both had their first pathings there, but nothing actually going on in terms of, you know, seeing Fat IRL down there trying to punish some of this over-aggression, or Shafty just trying to be a part of some of the plays that Rambengi's been able to find onto Limitless. Cleanse coming back up soon. So if another Death Sentence connects, by the time they're both back in lane, he's going to be able to, at the very least, cleanse it.
That was nice from Vangstead, actually. He got the auto 3-barrel off there. Quite a lot harder. Actually, a seriously amount harder than the Q.
It's a lot harder than you think, right? Because 3-barrel, relatively simple, right? Like, put 2 barrels down, Q, put the third one down before the second one blows up. Great. Or attacking actually makes that animation a lot harder to land. So, yeah.
I'm going to say this much. I have genuinely never done that. I've actually never been able to do the auto free par. I can consistently do a normal free par when you use the Q, but it's so much harder.
Yeah, I mean, if you have hands like yours, I'll definitely get it. It's hard getting older. Not so easy to hit the buttons anymore, is it?
No, I've been playing quite a lot of Valorant recently. Oh, that's flashed over. I'll hold this for.
He was. I don't think he was actually seen. Now he's going to walk out of the bush.
Oh no, there's a lot of people coming in though.
Oh, so many people. But red and white, and that's the important thing. Limitless, best skirmishing guns for Aphelios. If a fight kicks off and he's not bursted down immediately, over the duration of that fight, even early on in the game, he is just going to win out. And with that red and white, they're just going to move over to the dragon.
Yeah, red and white means good night, so they're not even going to remotely attempt that, as Denzel able to claw away to safety, as that will be a dragon picked up for the side of Riddle, unless Rotevenge lands the hook of the sentry, which he won't. And yeah, going back to your point, I've been playing Valorant, and man, nothing tells me that I have got boomer hands now from playing a shooter.
Oh
wow.
Boy,
wow. I have some good games, but I am not consistent.
You know,
I'm not
honestly,
consistent.
And I don't want to derail, because this is actually a pretty interesting game to talk about. I recently got on a first-person shooter as well, Never mind. There's an invade going on, but Shafty's going to leave it alone. Despite having a level lead, but I think it's just the first move from Denzel. That means that he just wants to not really contest it. But yeah, I got on Overwatch the other day with a friend.
Oh, I kind of missed that game.
It used to be a good game. Now it's a bit.
It used to be,
but,
yeah.
Funnily enough, I used to be a little bit below Grandmaster in that game, so I wasn't too bad. But I tried to get on it a couple of weeks ago, and my god, my hands, man, I can't anymore. And the worst part is because I used to play all of the mechanical champions, you know, like the ones that you have to have, yeah, like Genji, like you have to have high APM to play those.
Yeah.
Genji, Ana, McCree, but like McCree, you need hands.
It's not McCree anymore.
Oh yeah, it's not McCree anymore. It's
They
Cassidy.
changed Cassidy, yeah.
Yeah, changed the name. So like you need to have good hands. I don't have good hands anymore, except for when it comes to League of Legends, which is barely. And now Eden.
Oh, they are like hook. Good hook onto Fat IRL, but he does have the ultimate. And actually, Cannon Barrage comes down, and that might just be the moment for Rising Dawn to push up forward. Fat IRL gets the bailout. Can he survive?
Oh!
No shot! Will take him down, and Fat IRL goes down. A great double kill picked up for the side of Vangstead. And Rising Dawn are being hunted as the barrels will connect, and Vangstead having an absolutely killer game on the GP now. Denzel is going to get himself hooked underneath the tower. The clock cancelled. Rote Benge. That is not a boomer hands, man. He's still got it.
Yeah, he does indeed. Really great. To lock down Denzel there. Yeah, Vangstead.
Oh,
pretty
GP
nice for
pain.
himself. GP pain, I know. The barrels, but making his way towards that Triforce. And being able to pick up this wave on the opposite side. Denying Goffet at the very least, you know, free time on the bottom side. Really nice for him as potential play. Shafty gonna have pillar and Fine Forever. Oh, great handshake again. I mean, doing a really good job so far. Fine Forever just dissuading so many engages.
These supports.
The crucial thing is, yeah, they have been pretty good so far, haven't they?
They are carrying their teams, man.
Yeah, but the crucial thing is that Rising Dawn, they lost their jungler in that skirmish, so they weren't able to pick up the Herald on the back end. So UniQ go back out onto the map, even though they weren't able to find a pick onto the top side. Does do is give them a little bit of pressure to basically just pick it up on the back end of the play. So Rising Dawn don't get the Herald despite what would normally be called a pretty positive fight, and now UniQ have it as an opportunity to maybe snowball this Callisto a little bit further ahead, maybe go towards the mid lane, get Corki towards his 2-item spike faster. It's really up to them on what they want to do or whether or not an opportunity presents themselves, which is a little more lucrative than the other.
Well, 10 minutes on the clock here. Gold pretty even, but there is a slight gold lead building up for the side of UniQ. Rising Dawn are a little bit further behind the punch on that side, but you have 2 kills on your GP, so you're probably quite happy with that, because when you look where the gold is, Orna's got a kill, your Trundle's got a kill, and your support's got a kill. So when you look at actually where that gold is right now, Rising Dawn probably quite a lot happier with that, and the current state of everything for themselves is they've got that GP with the Triforce now finished up. He's got his Mythic and building towards his next items. Unfortunately, gone are the days we'd see, you know, the Duskblade, crit GP. Not quite as good on the current patch.
Current Gangplank, though, deals so much damage.
Yes, yeah.
It's kind of strange, because I was definitely a really big collector here for a long time, even on Gangplank.
What?
But
it's great item on him.
It's really good now. I've don't worry, I've corrected the error of my ways. It's okay. It's
welcome. One of us now.
Yeah. So obviously the barrels apply a 40%. Well, actually, it's armor. It ignores armor, which is actually different to armor pen. I can't remember how they stack, but what it basically means is that if you have a collector with barrels, you deal more damage on purchase than Lord Doms with barrels. So it just makes it spike a lot harder. Then you can go Lord Doms, because at that point, enough people have, either if it's frontline, great, you're just removing more of the armor, but also, of course, because of the durability patch, people do have a little bit higher base armor now. Away from that, UniQ, they're looking for a play on the bottom side. They've got the Herald, they've got the package. They're looking for a dive.
Yeah, they are looking for it, and they're going to throw down the Herald immediately. The pillar has timed out, and they actually have used the lantern, but this might just be the moment for Rising Dawn to get sent packing, but they are going to chase him for more. Limitless, he might just be caught out here. The cleanse is going to be big, but the hostile takeover underneath the tower is going to do so much work. Fight Forever will go down, and Limitless times out, as this will be Eden securing himself a kill with a flash, teleporting back up to the top lane, and the hook from Rote Benge is absolutely enormous. And the Herald will survive with 14 HP. The minions tank the tower, and they'll get the second charge off. This is another tower going down.
Yeah, I mean, so much gold injected there for UniQ. They're up 5,000 basically. 4,500. Vangsted's trying to make up for some of that on the top side. Actually gets knocked up. He's
oh no, he's dead. He's just dead.
Wow, that's really unfortunate, but also kind of deserved. Just thought that he would have the movement speed to get away from that knockup. But back to the replay. UniQ bring 5 members down to the bottom side of the map, and this Ornn ultimate is great in locking on the 2 people a little bit away from the tower. That ultimate from Renard, that hostile takeover was great from stopping UniQ from advancing. The problem is the rest of your team are already dead. So despite it being a really good ultimate, it isn't really enough to actually dissuade the play from continuing. Denzel then eventually gets caught out by Rombenge. Another great death sentence connects on to the Rising Dawn mid laner. And then Vangstead. Vangstead. So, fast forward it. Thank you very much, Reed. Vangstead hitting onto the tower, puts the barrel down, and he basically thinks that because he hits the barrel, he's going to get enough movement speed to dodge away from the knockup. Vangstead was wrong. Vangstead was very wrong. So, unfortunately, does pay for it with his life. And Neos now is a 304 Ornn with a 300 gold shutdown. So he's been picking up kills randomly, which to a point is maybe a bit of a beneficial thing for Rising Dawn on the opposite point of view, because that means it's not kills going into Kallista's back pocket, and it's also not kills going into Eden. Does mean, however, they're going to have to deal with very tanky frontliners. Fight Forever. Gets good. And has to flash away. He's fine for now.
Looking for another hook. Oh my word, Rote Benge able to grab it in, and that is the hostile takeover. Guff is taken out just like that as Rising Dawn, almost called them Riddle again. Rising Dawn able to just about avoid that.
You know, you did it earlier, and I didn't want to correct you. You actually kept on making a pretty decent point.
It's their tag is so close. It's so close in the tag, and you know, I've still got Div 1 mode on a little bit, unfortunately. What can I say?
They're 7 letters away. No, I'm fine. I'm here. They're 7 letters away. You know, so you know it's close. It could be closer, kind of, but I don't know what kind of team name you'd need to have to Rising Dawn Fell. I don't know. It's the first. What if it was just L? Like, what if they also had the riddle tag?
I'd be doomed. I'm getting it. I'm literally getting it wrong with one letter being wrong.
I don't think. I think by. Okay, you want the next one. I think by stand. Oh my god, so much. Oh no, I'm kidding.
Oh, he threw out the call of the Forge God. Vangstead might just get solo killed here. The Ornn is doing so much work. Vangstead has to flash, and actually Trundle in the pocket as well. Vangstead has to leave. This could just be a tower under some serious threat. As actually they're turning their attention towards the Rift Herald.
They are turning it towards the Rift Herald. UniQ should pick this one up. They know Vangstead has to go back to base. Or at the very least, he's going to have to be there to catch that wave. Bottom side, at the very least, Rising Dawn, they're cross-mapping, but I mean, tower for a Herald, when you're already missing so much of your bottom side of the map, missing all those towers, it just means, you know, this Herald probably just going to go in the mid lane, maybe goes up towards the top side if they just want the standing gold, but at the very least, UniQ, they've been finding the positive skirmishes, and if they find another one, it's going to go even further with that Herald.
Keep our eyes on where they decide to use that. I feel like mid is the best place, just to be able to kind of open up the base a little bit more for UniQ. Not the base, the map, sorry, for UniQ. I think the base might be getting a little ahead of themselves off that one. They did get 2 towers last time. They used it in the bot side, but there was a good team fight to set them up for it. And Eden actually might just hunt Vangstead down here. Remember, Vangstead no flash, so he's quite exposed right now. Has just got that serrated Dirk and the agility cloak on top of the Triforce, but I guess for the moment, Eden actually not really rocking too many items. Hasn't finished up the Mirror Mana. Just got that Manamune. And building towards what I assume is going to be a Loon's Echo, although it looks like that's potentially going to be a Leandries with that extra Amp Tome in the pocket.
Oh. Could be. Interesting take. Yeah, because Luden's builds out of a blasting one. So
Oh, he just bypassed it. I guess that's going towards Horizon's Focus then.
Void Star.
Or Void. Or yes, I forget that item exists sometimes, even though I shouldn't.
No, you really shouldn't.
It's a very cost-effective and very good item for mages or any AP carry, really. Oh, good handshake actually interrupts here. They throw down the Call of the Forge God, and they're going to catch 3 members, one of which being Eden, jumping in as this is Rising Dawn's charge. Fat IRL tries to get the bailout, but it's not going to go down in time as the cannon barrage is coming out. It's a 1-for-1 so far as Denzel has been locked in place. Rising Dawn lose 2, and it is a unique victory.
Yeah, it just felt like Rising Dawn weren't able to step up there, and Unique able to deny FireRL's bailout from a multitude of different reasons. I'm not sure how the hell a single player didn't go down whilst FireRL was bleeding out with the bailout, but manages to escape. And now they're just going to be able to pick up this dragon on the backhand. I mean, Vangstead also wasn't here for this fight, which is definitely very important.
Yeah.
Cannon Barrage can very often be enough. In this case, it just wasn't. But let's get a look at what exactly happened in that team fight, because I think just the fact that FireRL wasn't able to actually, like, you know, get the bailout, pretty important. All right, so let's take a look at it, because the initial part of it is Rombengi getting handshook, but then this ultimate again, hostile takeover so big, saved by the Callista ultimate, and FireRL goes in a little bit deep and a little bit optimistic, if you were to ask me, but the bailout is there, the ignite's ticking, so at the very least there's a chance he could have died, but it's the Solari shield, and again, the knock-up on the back end, which just means that, unfortunately, the rest of the damage isn't able to come out from Limitless in order to resurrect his jungler, and Denzel not able to survive. And it just felt like, you know, at the key moments, Limitless just wasn't able to put out the damage there, kind of forced away. Not his own fault, really. Just that Unique were putting out so much AoE that he just had to step away or, you know, risk maybe getting one shot.
Well, here we are now, almost at that 20-minute mark, a 4,000 gold lead over to Unique, and it looks like they want to blow that lead even wider open, as this Herald won't even get to charge, actually, because they'll be able to take that tower down in a matter of seconds, and potentially...
I mean, they're going to get, at the very least, this tier 2. I think Rising Dawn should be able to get about the Limitless itself. Where did it go? Huh? Was he always that low? Was that Corky? And I didn't see.
I mean, I just lagged out, so I just saw the tower die. I just DC'd. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! GP, you are in so much trouble, Vangstead. You might get the trial by fire off and a little bit of bonus movement speed, but that is one angry goat god into the pillar, and I don't think anyone. Oh, they're actually going to give it over to. No, they're not.
No, they're not. And he even used the cannon barrage there, which is kind of a big deal, because maybe with a 2-item Callista, 2-item Corky, look at the timer, it's 20.
I mean, it's
25.
They
can just go and do Baron. It's gonna die fast. There's no cannon barrage from GP once he respawns if things draw out. And a Death Center just connected.
Oh, they're getting everybody engulfed. Lanterns forward. Able to take down one. Ultimate goes wide. Fan Forever is going to bleed out as he is most certainly not fine forever. Eden finds himself a double kill, but Fatoyero trying to chase him down, but can't catch him with them all. And now Unique can turn their attention towards this Baron Nashor. You've got a Gwynzy's Rage Blade. You've got a Corky. You've got the damage. Baron will fall, and Unique
have DC'd from the cast. Yeah, Unique just in such firm control here. It's really hard, it feels like, for Rising Dawn to fight at this kind of deficit. And again, Rising Dawn just feel like they're on loads of different wavelengths in this game. You haven't really seen them group up at all. Welcome back, Jake. I think
yeah, no, I know. Yeah.
Did you hear me the whole time? Was it one of those DCs where you still had like...
No, I just... Everything went quiet and still.
So, the best part about when you DC'd was that it was a legitimate, like, near toss. Like...
I know. I was hoping that it kind of went at the right point, but it didn't.
it was close. It was close. It was just like and unique, and then there was just silence. Like it was.
Well, just so you know, in the
Yep.
UK, data costs loads of money, and in certain parts of the country, i.e., villages, internet's bad.
Yeah.
It's actually
really need to
normally,
fix-
it's
they really
actually
need to
normally stable.
They actually really do need to do a better job of like internet infrastructure in places that aren't like London.
Yeah,
Basically.
yeah. I mean,
It's pretty bad.
I'm hopefully getting internet that's going to be better in the next couple of months, maybe year. We don't know the timeline yet, but at the moment, I'm rocking 35 download. That's on a good day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
pain.
ridiculous. Like even Limitless hooked cleanse again. Frog Bengi man, so many death sentences this game, forcing out some of the spells, finding kills.
Bangstead. Do you know what that looked like?
Yeah.
It looked like tilt.
It looks like something, brother. As
Oh.
unique, trying to find Goffy, but he has both summoner spells. So even if all of this connects,
Oh,
cleanse,
they're
flash,
catching everything onto him. He's able to survive for
He's
so
alive,
long.
man.
He's kited them out. Guffey refuses to go down, and he just takes them out. Limitless will also be short to follow, although he's able to just about sliver away and survive for now. So unlike my internet, he does stay up. Unlike the towers, though, that will fall down as unique are looking to deny Rising Dawn a tied spot here. 23 minutes on the clock, and they are looking to close this game out, but the barrels might just be enough to slow them down as Nihus will fall to the tower. An overextension will cost them pretty heavily here.
Oh god, and it's gonna cost me money if this game goes on because I'm gonna need to get here. This is so scuffed today, but I mean, unique. They just overstep, and actually, is that package? Not package. Oh,
What? That's not okay. Do you know my favorite thing about the durability patch is how it affected some champions but not others. Like, come on.
Yeah, like,
there was some real unfair stuff going on.
It really goes to show how broken Corki was if he's able to do this much damage post durability.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It feels like a real slap in the face to LeBlanc players. I landed full combo on someone twice and they don't die. Corki shoots them once with a big rocket and then they die. Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it's a bit ridiculous. By the way, that what do you call it? That amp tone went into a shadow flame.
Yeah.
Definitely very interesting.
Interesting.
But it does kind of make sense.
There's quite a lot of shielding.
Like, if he was another mage, it's not even about the shielding. It's just the fact that the pen also applies to lower HP targets too.
Yes, true. Yeah. I always forget
which is
that.
something that people often forget. Like, it's not even an anti. It's just a good mage item to deal damage. Which not quite sure.
It's good for that, but it also is like the anti-shield is just like a nice bonus to it, right?
Yeah, like it's funny because Shadow Flame was very much marketed as like a anti-shield item for mages or barrel.
Yeah.
Does connect, but no crit. And now it's just a general good mage item because of the pen it gives, regardless of the shield thing. It's just bonus if they have been shielded straight away, which I think is silly. Anyway, potentially Eden
just took 2 tower shots, and that's a 4-man hostile takeover. Rising Dawn launch into the gold lead. It's just too big. It is a slaughter for Unique as Rising Dawn. It looks like their sun is setting on this game.
Oh,
okay, don't worry.
At least it's for Bengi, but I mean, everybody jumps in from Rising Dawn, but the problem is they jump into the Gatling gun of Eden, and he is able to mince them in that hop of absolute destruction. And now they're just gonna dive forward. Bankstead dead with the bailout.
Not gonna be able to do so. Not gonna be able to do anything. Tower goes down. Nexus will explode. 26 minutes on the clock, and Unique. They came up really big today, able to take down Rising Dawn in a very, very one-sided affair.
Yes, indeed. And it feels like that's been the trend of all of the games today so far. Loads of one-sided victories, and Unique make no exception so far. Absolute stomp, to be honest. By the end of it, it felt like just again, I looked towards Rising Dawn, and it just felt like there wasn't really a whole bunch of teamwork today. It felt like we didn't really get to see their composition play together, like ever. And unfortunately, we spoke about, Callista being a bit of a bridge alongside the Trundle and the Thresh to getting Eden to a point where he can carry those team fights. And we saw it in the very last team fight, even though Corki had been putting out damage for a very long time at this point. They caught out Shafty and they caught out Guffey with that combo. Problem is, you have 3-iron Corgi who's not being targeted. You don't have much magic resist. Everybody just dies, and that was simply the game.
An absolute slaughter there from UniQ, but we are going to throw ourselves to a very quick break, and then when we're back, we'll actually talk to the guys from UniQ to break down that game a little bit more, so we'll see you in a moment.